Good morning everyone. Let's cover major US and some international updates from last 24 hours. Our goal is to provide you news updates shortly and quickly. Let's start. White House confirmed new executive actions aimed at reducing prescription drug prices next year. Lawmakers advanced bipartisan funding to strengthen election infrastructure security. Senate stalled a procedural vote on expanded childcare tax credits. Housing assistance extensions were debated amid winter displacement concerns. Supreme Court agreed to hear a case challenging federal authority over social media regulation. Asylum processing timelines at border facilities were reviewed by federal agencies. Travel advisories were updated for multiple regions citing security concerns. Defense spending revisions were submitted to lawmakers for early 2026 planning. Cryptocurrency tax reporting guidelines were updated by Treasury officials. Satellite broadband spectrum allocation entered a new public consultation phase. Economic advisors briefed legislators on year-end inflation trends. Election interference investigations were expanded by federal prosecutors. Temporary protected status reviews were extended for select migrant groups. Hearings began on the use of artificial intelligence in government surveillance. Major city leaders urged faster disaster relief funding approvals. Judicial challenges emerged against new limits on migrant parole programs. Oversight reviews were launched into student loan servicing practices. Proposals resurfaced to restrict stock trading by elected officials. Diplomatic staffing was increased at key Indo-Pacific missions. NATO commitments were reaffirmed by senior government officials. European leaders discussed digital governance and platform accountability. Asian governments reviewed regulatory frameworks for cross-border data flows. Latin American states coordinated new public sector reforms. African governments debated election security frameworks. Markets traded cautiously as investors assessed growth signals. Central bank officials signaled patience on interest rate adjustments. Small business confidence slipped slightly heading into year-end. Consumer sentiment showed modest improvement before the holidays. Retailers reported steady online sales growth. Air travel bookings rose sharply ahead of holiday travel. Logistics companies warned of weather-related delivery delays. Technology stocks outperformed broader markets. Banks tightened lending standards for commercial real estate. Venture capital funding showed signs of late-year recovery. Energy companies adjusted outlooks amid price volatility. The dollar weakened slightly against major currencies. Bond yields edged higher after government auctions. Credit card delinquencies rose among younger consumers. Auto dealers reported improved inventory movement. Semiconductor demand projections remained stable into early 2026. Freight rail traffic showed seasonal increases. Analysts warned of post-holiday spending slowdowns. Global oil prices fluctuated on supply concerns. Gold prices rose on safe haven demand. Emerging market currencies softened. Shipping costs remained elevated globally. Economic growth forecasts were revised downward for next year. Military officials evaluated updated defense readiness plans. Anti-drug maritime operations continued in international waters. Border regions increased emergency response coordination. Cyber defense readiness levels were raised across agencies. Naval patrols were expanded near critical shipping lanes. Missile defense coordination was reviewed among allies. Defense contractors expanded investment in autonomous systems. Counterterrorism units increased holiday security measures. Security agencies monitored extremist online activity. Joint military exercises continued across multiple regions. Airspace monitoring increased amid regional tensions. Defense ministers met to discuss strategic deterrence. Surveillance systems were upgraded along sensitive borders. Military recruitment initiatives were expanded. Veteran support funding discussions resumed. Authorities issued alerts over holiday season cyber scams. Financial fraud networks targeting seniors were disrupted. Retail theft incidents increased across urban areas. Wildfire prevention power shutoffs expanded in high-risk zones. Transit hubs increased police patrols. Several cities reported year-over-year declines in violent crime. Illegal firearms were seized in multi-state operations. Human smuggling networks were disrupted by border agencies. Public surveillance was increased for large holiday gatherings. Burglary rings were investigated in multiple regions. Anti-money laundering indictments were announced. Coast Guard units conducted multiple rescue operations. Prison systems reported staffing shortages. Emergency services prepared for severe weather events. European police increased patrols ahead of holidays. Interpol issued updated travel safety advisories. International cybercrime arrests were reported. Airports enhanced passenger screening measures. Cybersecurity agencies warned of ransomware targeting hospitals. AI use in hiring platforms entered regulatory review. Data center investments expanded globally. Defense technology startups secured new funding. AI-assisted logistics planning systems were evaluated. Facial recognition limits were debated by lawmakers. Cloud outages briefly disrupted digital services. Universities expanded artificial intelligence research programs. Automation-related layoffs raised labor concerns. Cyber insurance premiums increased due to rising attacks. Satellite resilience upgrades were announced. Telecom companies rolled out expanded 5G coverage. AI transparency reports were released by research labs. Government contractors face stricter cybersecurity audits. Quantum computing research funding increased. Severe winter storms disrupted travel across multiple regions. Arctic monitoring showed continued sea ice decline. Flooding affected parts of South America. Bushfire risks remained elevated in Australia. Drought conditions worsened across East Africa. Climate experts warned of accelerating environmental tipping points. Cold wave advisories were issued in South Asia. Air quality alerts were monitored in major cities. Disaster readiness reviews were conducted across Pacific nations. Volcanic activity was tracked along the Ring of Fire. Health agencies monitored seasonal flu mutations. Vaccination campaigns expanded ahead of winter peaks. Mental health service demand increased. New cancer therapy trials showed early promise. Hospitals prepared surge capacity plans. Long-term post-viral health effects were studied. Nutrition programs warned of funding gaps. Basketball teams reported multiple injury updates. Olympic committees reviewed qualification pathways. Tennis tournaments released match draws. Esports leagues expanded international events. Anti-doping agencies increased testing programs. Women's sports leagues reported continued growth. Film studios adjusted upcoming release schedules. Streaming platforms announced new original content. Music festivals revealed future lineups. Museums reported strong holiday attendance. Fashion brands launched winter collections. Cultural festivals resumed across Asia. Publishing houses released updated bestseller lists. Theater productions reopened in major cities. Art auctions saw strong global bidding. Tourism bookings increased ahead of year-end. That's all for today, thanks for joining, have a nice day.